I love junk food. I love junk food, all right? Whether that be McDonald's, KFC, Burger King. I'm getting hungry just thinking about this shit. Let me get myself together real quick. But I've always loved junk food, right? It's one of my fatal flaws. I don't know, bro, like I love pizza, bro. Like pizza is to die for, right? And that's not the message of this video. I'm not gonna sit here and try to make you as hungry as possible. Because the honest truth is, in this video, I want to kind of share the fact that I've always struggled with my addiction, so to speak, with fast food. And honestly, I shouldn't be doing this because I've realized lately or recently that it is a bona fide addiction. Like fast food is something that, even though on the surface seems pretty harmless and fun, and you have a Big Mac every now and again, let's get some chicken nuggies, nothing wrong with that, right? But I've kind of come to the realization lately that these tasty snacks, this junk food, this delicious pastime of ours may be a lot worse than you might think it is. But more than that, I'm actually hoping to show you how this little small mindset shift that I've recently gone through has made it so much easier. Like I'm talking so much easier to control my fast food addiction. Listen, as you can see, I'm no fitness model, right? I don't have the six-pack abs to show you. The jawline is kind of lacking there, bro. But if you trust my word for it, and I mean, don't even trust my word. I'll put a picture up right now. In the last few months, like since last year, I have lost at least 5 kgs since the end of last year. And for me, that is unthinkable. Like I haven't lost weight in 4 years. I've always been chubby for like the last 4 to 5 years. I couldn't lose weight. And now all of a sudden, it's like the weight is falling off. And I'm telling you now, this mindset shift had such a huge impact on that weight loss. Let me share it with you. I had this realization while watching a YouTube video, funny enough. And you may have actually seen this video if you are a fan of self-improvement, right? It's a video by a YouTuber called Leon Hendricks. Sick guy, by the way. He looks so cool. I hope I get to meet him one day. He looks really dope. But Leon essentially made a video with a bunch of his friends where he almost gave up pretty much every addiction that he had for a month. I think it was about a month, but him and his friends went on this vow. They did a challenge where they were going to give up all the bad things and only do good habits, right? That was the challenge. But to make it more interesting, Leon and his mates said, okay, every time we indulge in a bad habit. So let's say, for example, one of the guys said, I want to stop eating junk food like we do, right? He said, every time I eat junk food or I break the habit, I'm going to come clean, tell you guys that I've done that. But on top of that, I'm going to donate money to a cause that I absolutely hate, right? And the causes that these guys chose were just absolutely crazy. I think one was like donating to neo-Nazis, and the other one was like, I think Leon's one was donating to the German government or something, but they all picked a cause that was just a terrible cause, right? Had no benefit for the world, literally was just a shitty kind of organization, but they had to kind of support that organization every time they broke their promise to themselves and to their friends. And not only was this hilarious, but I actually found that it was really good motivation to stick to your challenges. Because let's be real, nobody wants to donate money to vegans, right? I really hope there's no vegans. If my cousin's watching, I love you, but yeah, let me just shut up before I get into trouble. Now, I want you to imagine this, right? Imagine you were in this challenge with a bunch of your friends, and every time you ate McDonald's, let's say, you ate McDonald's and you had to come clean, and every time you did it, you had to donate money to fill in the blank, whatever cause that you would think is despicable to support, right? How shitty would you feel about yourself every time you did that? How guilty would you feel for supporting a cause that you, like I said, has no benefit for the world? It actually knows it's probably hurting people in the process. And worst of all, the benefit of this is that it just makes a shit ton of money. And now it's making money from you. You'd feel like a pretty crappy human being, wouldn't you? But here is where the absolute mindfuck comes into play, right? What is the difference between you giving away money to an organization that is just a monstrosity versus you giving away your money to a company like McDonald's or a company like KFC or Burger King or whatever it is that strikes your fancy? There is actually no difference. And I'll explain why. Imagine I offered you a job at a certain company, so to speak, right? And when I went through the job description, this is what I told you. In this job, you are going to be expected to learn all about human psychology, all about human physiology, the mind and the body, the spirit, everything to do with humans. But the reason you're going to learn about humans is so that you can find out what addicts them the most. Once you've pinpointed the fundamental desires and urges and kind of needs, like human needs of a human being, You're going to take those desires, you're going to know exactly how to trigger that shit, and you are going to design products that are the most efficient at maximizing that addiction. A product or a service or a food that literally is designed to get somebody addicted to it. So essentially, my friend, you are going to find ways to essentially use a person's biology and nature against them so that we can make a shit ton of money. Now, because we understand the human body and physiology so damn well, and we understand what goes into making our food or products, right? We kind of know that these things, they're not good for people, right? And when I say not good, I mean, they could cause that person to die, because I guess our product causes diabetes because there's such a high level of sugar. People get fat because of the food, so their health just fucks off out the window. And we also kind of know that when a person gains weight and they aren't healthy, that is a major contributor to massive depression, anxiety, all the attached conditions that come with being an unfit and healthy individual with diabetes. And if it's bad enough diabetes, that shit can kill you by itself. But don't worry, bro, it's actually perfect, right? Depression is great. Why? Because when a person's depressed and they're feeling sad and they feel empty inside, they will come back to the thing that gave them that initial dopamine spike in the first place. Because that's what our food does, right? Gives them a huge, unnatural level of dopamine, which causes addiction. So when they're feeling sad, it's okay, because the only thing that can cure their depression is the very poison that we fed them in the first place. So they'll never leave us. They will always be addicted, and they will always be our little bitch. If you were sitting in that interview, you would think to yourself, what a bunch of fucking assholes. And excuse my French, but you would think just the same thing as me. You'd think, what absolute monsters. I would never work for a company like that. Never mind that, I would never support a company like that. Why would I? They're a bunch of assholes. But that is exactly what you are doing every single time you go to that drive-thru at McDonald's and you order yourself a Big Mac, a McFeast Deluxe, whatever. You are giving money to an organization that you know deep down, is doing so much more harm than good in this world. And I don't give a fuck what you think about, Happy Meals, it's here to bring joy. Bullshit, it's an addiction. It's the same argument as if you had to say, alcohol brings joy, but we all know that the leading cause of death and murder rates and aggression and home, like domestic violence and abuse, is because of that shit. It's because of alcohol. But because branders and advertisers say, it's here to make you happy, that's just some shitty advertising that they put on the bottle and on the Big Mac box to make you feel okay about it. But the problem is, you don't realize this. And I didn't realize this for so long. I mean, let's be honest, we all know that it's not good for us. I'm not here telling you something that you don't know. This isn't like a secret, right? You know that if you eat McDonald's for long enough, you're going to get fat. But what I had forgotten, and what you might have forgotten too, is that these people know that they are hurting us. These companies are betting on the fact that we get addicted to their shit so that we keep coming back. And they know that with higher rates of depression, and this is not on their manifesto, obviously, this is something that they just know instinctually. They know, the scientists know what they're doing. They know that they are trying to make you as weak as possible so that you become a forever client and you keep on making them multi-fucking billionaires. They know they are hurting you. They know they cause diabetes and obesity in children. Imagine making children obese, risk of heart attacks and death as a kid. They know this. But do you think this stops them from stopping their mass production of absolute junk? Fuck no. Because they are profiting off of your misery and your disease. And when I suddenly realized this fact the other day, I not only felt ashamed of myself, but I felt played. I realized that for so long, every time I go and indulge in fast food, and in particular these big companies like McDonald's and KFC and Burger King, I just realized that I was their bitch. Every time I went and got their food, I just realized suddenly I am literally accepting the fact that I am their bitch. I have given into their addiction. I am making them successful. But in the process, I'm not only just making them successful, I'm trading my own value, my own potential, my own health to make these motherfuckers successful. And that just made me, you can hear it already, I'm getting way too triggered, but it made me so damn cross. And I hope that this makes you just as angry. For the longest time, I felt so much shame in myself every time I ended up at a McDonald's or at a place buying something that I shouldn't be buying because I felt like I was weak. I felt like I wasn't strong enough to avoid the temptation. Until I realized that, maybe it's not the fact that I don't have enough discipline. Maybe it's not the fact that I'm a weak little bitch that is giving into my own needs and wants. Maybe it's the fact that I am against the smartest scientists the world has ever seen, all hired for millions and trillions of dollars to make a product that really fucks with me on a human fundamental level. Because they know who I am, they know my biology, they can tell and they can explain every little fundamental part of my brain, my desires, my hormones, and they are using this shit against me. It's like fishing, right? You throw bait in the water, and then when the fish takes the bait and you catch it, you say, what a dumb fish, should have had more discipline. No, because the fish is meant to eat food. The fish is designed to do that. So how can you say that humans are weak and stupid and feeble? Even look at overweight people. We judge them so much in society for being weak and not being strong enough to resist temptation. But those poor people, firstly, are suffering with so many byproducts of their addiction, depression, anxiety, mind fog, because the food fucks up their mental health. It's no wonder they keep going back to the drug that has damaged them in the first place. We need sympathy for these people, but more than that, we need anger towards the food companies that are doing this to us. Anger towards all of these asshole organizations that are doing nothing but making a profit off of our own health and lack of health, I should say. Am I saying now that I will never touch McDonald's again? Am I saying that I will never have a KFC and I'll just live off the land and eat grass and grow my own food? In an ideal world, that would be ideal. But unfortunately, I've realized that we live in a society that if we want to kind of maintain normal lives and see friends and stuff, we kind of, like I said, I'm not going to be that guy that's in a McDonald's that's ordering food and his friends are like, well, let's get some McDonald's or something. And I'm like, no, guys, I'm going to go get some buy a salad somewhere else, right? I'm not going to do that, but I am going to stop supporting the monster every time I really can. Every time that it's not necessary and I don't absolutely have to do it out of, a social situation or to make, because like I said, nobody wants to make others uncomfortable. Nobody wants to be the vegan at the restaurant saying, veggies, please. And you should be like that, right? And I'm admitting to you, I'm not strong enough to say no to the fact that when I'm at a McDonald's with friends, I'm not going to say no and not eat McDonald's. But all I'm trying to share with you today is this mindset of every time you do it by yourself, every time you go there because you just want to have a little bit of a snack, you just want to have a little bit of junk to feel good, sweeties, just to feel happy. Just realize that you are feeding a monster that doesn't care about you and doesn't care about anybody else in this world. If you have to do it, I'm not going to be here sitting looking at you like I said, that vegan that looks at you and is like, you monster. I'm not going to judge you. All I'm trying to share with you in this video is that when I realized that every time I wanted to cheat on my diet and go and get junk food and binge out McDonald's and chips and Coca-Cola is another one, every time I supported these companies, I supported my own demise. And suddenly, for the last while, I just have not had the inclination to go near a McDonald's, to go near a KFC. I'm still a sugar addict, I'm still a fast food addict, but at least now I'm so much more aware of the fact that my choices aren't only affecting myself, but they're affecting the rest of the world because I'm supporting a monstrous company that I just don't want to support. And like I said, that has had tremendous benefits for my own health, for my own weight loss, and just for my peace of mind and my respect for myself. So in this video, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I encourage you to really think about the monsters that you are feeding in your life, whether that's McDonald's, whether that's Coca-Cola, whether that's clothing brands. Really look into the places you support and realize or ask yourself, are these places helping me become a better, stronger, healthier, happier human being? Or are they profiting off of my addiction because they are abusing my own human nature against me?